For years, the world has watched the British royal family navigate an unspoken tension, one marked by distance, silence, and the heavy weight of old wounds. Through it all, Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex have stood on their own 2 feet, carving out an independent life built around dignity, privacy, and purposeful work. And yet, despite the years of estrangement and relentless media noise, the longing for simple family unity has never truly faded. It has lived quietly underneath the headlines, beneath the speculation, in the hearts of those who believe even the most strained relationships can evolve. Now, with whispers rising about King Charles III's potential visit to the United States in the coming spring, something has shifted. It's subtle, delicate even, but unmistakable. Where once the mere mention of the Sussexes triggered rigid palace rebuttals, today the atmosphere feels softer, gentler, more open. For the first time in a very long time, observers sense the faint possibility of a reunion between the King and the Sussex family, Harry, Meghan, and the 2 young grandchildren Charles has yet to truly know. What's striking is that this discussion isn't being driven by tabloid frenzy or manufactured drama. If anything, it's growing naturally, organically, from the way conversations around the royal household have evolved. Insiders note the absence of harsh language. Commentators sense a cooling of tensions. Even reporters known for their critical tone have begun acknowledging that the dynamics between father and son are not as frozen as they once seemed. Something is thawing, slowly but surely, and the reason might be simpler than anyone expected. Family. Behind the rigid structure of royal tradition, King Charles remains a father and a grandfather. And no matter the complications of the past, the bond between parents and children has a way of resurfacing, especially during moments of reflection. With the King navigating his own health challenges over time and adjusting to the heavy responsibilities of his role, many believe he has become more introspective, more aware of the fleeting nature of life, more conscious of the small, irreplaceable moments slipping by. Those close to the situation say that while official schedules for a US state visit are still being finalized, the tone around the possibility of private family time has noticeably changed. No one is promising anything. No one is confirming a reunion. But for the first time, they aren't denying the possibility either. That alone has shifted public expectation. The idea of the King seeing his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet, has always been emotionally charged. The children represent not only a continuation of the royal family line, but an opportunity for healing. They are innocent of adult politics and unburdened by past mistakes. A meeting with them would be profoundly human, profoundly personal, profoundly private. And it's that simplicity that makes the scenario feel increasingly plausible. Observers point out that the Sussexes, despite years of misrepresentation and ridicule from the British tabloids, have consistently behaved with grace in matters concerning the King. Harry has spoken empathetically about his father's well-being. Meghan has maintained respectful silence, choosing family protection over public discourse. And the 2 have built a peaceful, nurturing environment for their children, one centered on love, stability, and emotional safety. This maturity has not gone unnoticed, even within palace circles. Those who know Charles say he has always cared deeply about Harry, even when communication faltered. And with the King now in a reflective chapter of his life, many believe he is thinking more about legacy, connection, and the bonds that endure beyond titles or institutions. The grandchildren he seldom sees, the ones growing up oceans away, are becoming more present in his thoughts. He knows they are thriving, loved, and protected, but he also knows those early years pass quickly, and perhaps, just perhaps, he hopes it's not too late to play a small role in their lives. This potential trip to America has therefore taken on a deeper significance, one far beyond protocol and diplomacy. While the official reasoning may revolve around state relations, cultural engagements, and high-level meetings, the emotional undercurrent is unmistakable. America is not merely another diplomatic stop. It also happens to be the place Harry, Meghan, and the children call home, the place where the future of the Sussex family has taken root. and the place where the king could, quietly and without fanfare, reunite with the son who once adored him so openly. What makes this moment particularly poignant is that no one is pushing for grand gestures. People aren't expecting a public reconciliation or a staged photo opportunity. Most know that would only place pressure on a fragile situation. What the world is quietly hoping for is something simpler, more tender, a private conversation, a shared cup of tea, a moment of closeness. A chance for the king to look into the eyes of his grandchildren and see a piece of himself reflected back. Even commentators who once doubted reconciliation are acknowledging the shift. They note that palace language around the Sussexes has softened noticeably. Instead of dismissing reunions as impossible, aides speak in vague terms. Depending on logistics, personal time may be considered. Family considerations remain important. These are not confirmations, but they are certainly not the firm rejections the world grew accustomed to in recent years. For the Sussex supporters, the emotional landscape feels hopeful for the first time in a long time. Harry and Meghan Sussex are not portrayed as obstacles. Instead, they are recognised for the stability they've built and the boundary setting they've maintained. Their family values, protection, kindness, and mental well-being, are finally being acknowledged rather than mocked. Public sentiment is slowly shifting toward compassion rather than criticism. The most telling sign, perhaps, is the lack of bitterness in Harry and Meghan's behaviour. While the UK tabloids spent years pushing narratives of drama and division, the Sussexes continuously chose peace over pettiness. Their silence in moments where they could have retaliated speaks volumes. Their focus on their children, their community work, and their personal growth radiates far louder than any sensational headline. And it is this quiet strength that appears to be inspiring a softening in the broader royal atmosphere. A family strained by years of miscommunication may finally find its way back to basics. And as spring approaches, the idea of a meeting, small, private, significant, begins to feel not only possible, but sensible. The King's trip to America could easily allow for a discreet detour. Nothing dramatic, nothing political. Just a moment for Charles to connect with Harry, Meghan, and the two small children who are part of his legacy, whether the institution acknowledges it loudly or not. Imagine the quiet power of such a moment. A grandfather kneeling to greet the granddaughter named partly in honour of his mother. A tender smile exchanged. Archie chattering about his interests, his world, his joy. The King seeing firsthand the loving environment Harry and Meghan have created. And Harry, no longer a prince under duty's weight, but simply a son sharing his family with his father. No cameras, no public statements, no performances, just humanity. And perhaps that is what this moment is really about. The human desire to reconnect, to forgive, to rebuild. The monarchy may have its structures, but families are built on something older and more enduring. Love, however complicated. As April draws near, no one knows exactly what will happen. The schedules, the logistics, the realities of royal travel remain fluid. But the shift in energy is undeniable. A door that once felt permanently closed now feels slightly ajar. The hope is quiet, but it is genuine. And hope, once sparked, has a way of growing. Maybe the King will take the step. Maybe Harry and Meghan Sussex will open their home for a gentle, private moment. Maybe Archie and Lilibet will finally spend time with their grandfather. Maybe healing, real, meaningful healing, is closer than anyone dared believe. And sometimes, all it takes is a single meeting to change the story of an entire family.